Hi, good afternoon. Here I am contacting you from my office in Middletown this afternoon. I wanted to let you know that I started reading the case studies, your first visual analysis, yesterday, and they're very good. This is probably the best batch of papers I've seen on a first attempt, so congratulations to you, and thanks for carefully doing the prep work to make sure that you were able to write them. As I was reading them, though, I thought, if we were in class, I would probably share some lessons from reading them with all of you, as well as some examples that were outstanding. So in terms of writing about works of art, it's important to be specific not only in the detail and what you're seeing, but also in terms of the language that you use. In today's world with social media, we often refer to all images as pictures, and if we're going to be more specific, sometimes photos, but not all works of art are photos. So for instance, behind me, over here, this is a photograph, a digital image, and this is part photograph and painting. So that's mixed media, and that happens to be of my son. So I know the artist. Okay, so instead of referring to images, right, they might be three-dimensional, take into account and take a look at the information provided to make sure that you know what it is you're looking at. So for example, Hampton, Antony, and Wadishko all had three-dimensional sculptures. So it was presented to you as a photograph, as a way to convey it to you, but the photograph wasn't the work of art itself. Only Faith Ringgold had a two-dimensional piece that was an acrylic painting in the center, bordered by painted cloth, which accentuated the reference to the quilt. So, and also when you're looking at works of art, see what connections you can make in what you're seeing. So I asked you to do a careful formal analysis, and there's one that's especially good that I'll share with you. But you can also make connections with what you're seeing. So one student, for example, in looking at Ringgold's Tar Beach painting, noticed that the hairstyle of the girl flying in the air matched that of the hairstyle of the little girl lying on the blanket, and made the connection that they could actually be the same person. So that's an instance of looking at detail and figuring out subject matter, right? Take into consideration your audience. One student said that this must have been meaningful to Ringgold and her family, but it was also published in a children's book, so it must have had a wider appeal and had a larger audience. There was one particularly strong analysis of Janine Antoni's work that was impressive to me because it definitely demonstrated original thinking. So this student noticed that there was a stark difference in coloring, that the sculptures were presented in a pristine hallway that kind of referred to a fine art gallery, and that she described the lines of the contour of the chocolate sculpture as rugged compared to the soap sculpture, which was minimal. And before reading, she said that it occurred to her that these sculptures could represent sides of ourselves that we reveal to one another. And that's, I think, a really interesting take on this. Once you read about these sculptures, you do realize that they're self-portraits, all of the artist, but that her self-portrait could also mirror something that is true in all of us is an interesting idea, right? And that we have different sides that we do show to different people, to family, to friends, to people that we work with, to people that we report to. They might see a different side of you. Typically, Antoni's work is associated with aging and the social pressure for youth and beauty to be applied particularly to women, but also applicable to men. Anyhow, I just wanted to say I'm really enjoying your papers, and I hope you're enjoying the process, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.